Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Danielle Fisher, and I am the event manager here at Eco Canada. And today's session is called Royal Roads Presents the Graduate Certificate in Science and Policy of Climate Change and the Masters in Environmental Practice program. Before we start, I would like to take a moment to recognize the traditional Indigenous lands where Eco Canada's office is based in Calgary. At Eco Canada, we're committed to working towards respectful acknowledgement, collaboration, and reconciliation with Indigenous peoples across Canada. This starts with acknowledging our honor and privilege to live and work within the Treaty 7 territory. Today, we are presenting from the city of Calgary, home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. We would also like to take this time to acknowledge traditional territories and oral practices of the Niitsitapi, home of the Blackfoot Confederacy, which includes the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai First Nations, and the Tsuut'ina and Goodstoney, which includes the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. Before we start, there are a few housekeeping guidelines for today's session to ensure that everyone can enjoy and participate in our session effectively. All participants are muted, so please check your audio settings to ensure that you can hear us properly. If you're experiencing any technical issues, please use the question box and select Eco Canada, the organizer, and I will do all that I can to resolve the issue. Today's webinar is being recorded and will be made available on demand to you within the next 24 hours. Everyone who registered for the webinar will receive an email with a link to the video. Any questions that you have about the presentation or today's topic can be submitted through the chat box or question box. We will have dedicated time after the presentation to answer any questions from the audience. Finally, we really want to know what you think about our webinars and how we can keep improving. You'll be sent a short survey after the webinar ends. Please let us know what you think or if you have any comments or suggestions about the webinar. I would like to introduce Vance Wajali. Vance is the school manager at the School of Environment and Sustainability, the Faculty of Social and Applied Sciences at RRU. Next up is Dr. Leslie King, professor at the School of Environment and Sustainability at Royal Roads University. Professor King's life has been dedicated to environmental education and inspiring and empowering people to enter and excel in the environmental field, solving local to global environmental problems. She's designed and implemented new and innovative applied environmental programs, departments, and faculties in Canadian, American, and African universities. Leslie holds degrees from the University of British Columbia, York University, the University of Toronto, and the London School of Economics. Over to you, Vance and Leslie. My apologies.
Thanks, I lost you.
We're happy to have you here today to join us. I'm going to start with our land acknowledgement here at Royal Roads, because of course we're on beautiful Vancouver Island, and Royal Roads is a beautiful campus that is on the land of the traditional lands of the Algonquin-speaking peoples, the Songhees and the Esquimalt First Nations. We have much gratitude to be on this land, to work and to learn here. And if you have the opportunity to come to our campus, it's quite a beautiful place with a long, rich history. Now, today we're going to talk about two different programs, and Dr. Leslie King is our expert today that knows them very well as program head. So first, I'll talk a little bit about Royal Roads itself. Then Leslie will speak about the programs. We'll talk about the application process, and of course, we'll answer any questions that you have. You don't have to wait till the end to ask questions, though. You can always put them in the chat, and I know Danielle will be monitoring the chat and helping us answer those questions. So first of all, I'm going to start with a couple of pictures of the Royal Roads campus. As you can see, it's quite a beautiful space. One of the famous historical landmarks on the Royal Roads campus is the Hatley Castle. So often when people come here, it's one of the things they want to see. Below this on the screen, you will see the Esquimalt Lagoon, which has been a traditional fishing territory for the Indigenous people on the land. Royal Roads is full of many different parks and areas and animals, and we take great pride in maintaining that natural space. But of course, Royal Roads is also an online university, and the program we're talking about today is completely online. But we show you these pictures because we want you to know, as Royal Roads students or guests, you're always welcome to visit our campus. So what's special about Royal Roads? Well, one of the things that we take pride in is that we see life as a qualification. So what that means is we really want to learn from you as well and some of your experiences. And in fact, when you're applying, we want to know what you're going to bring to us. We'll talk a little bit about our application process and the different ways you can apply for the program in a little bit. Royal Roads also has small class sizes, so our professors know your name. And that's something that we really believe strongly in, is that we want to have that close connection. And of course, we try to integrate learning based on life. So we have many experiential learning experiences that we really value highly. And also we want you to have connections for life. So not only just with your professors or the faculty here, but with the cohort you study with. And Royal Roads was built differently. So Royal Roads has actually been an online university for many years. Many universities made a shift during COVID, but Royal Roads has been doing this for a long time. And I know Leslie has been expert in this area as well, so I'm sure she's going to talk more about that. A couple of statistics for you, just to know that our students are very satisfied and happy with their Royal Roads experience. You can see here that they do feel that their time really enhances their professional lives and their personal lives too. And they also have a lot of tools that they built to help them have success in their industry. And they also often report how supported they feel by our faculty here. Also to note, Royal Roads has the important designation of being a Ashoka U Changemaker campus, which means that really we believe in a lot of innovative practices and approaches to education that just makes us a little bit different and more on the front edge of the work that we're doing. And we encourage our students to really be risk takers and think about how they can support the communities around them through their work. So without further ado, we can start now with Dr. Leslie King telling us a little bit about the Master's of Art and Master's of Science in Environmental Practice.
Thank you very much, Vance. I'm afraid I've lost you. I keep trying to reconnect to the webinar. Can you see me?
Yes.
I can't see you or the slides.
Okay.
So if you can just tell me which slide is up, then I'll talk to it, but I can't see it.
Okay, we're going to talk about the program goal, Leslie.
Oh, okay. So this program, the MEP, Master in Environmental Practice, is meant to prepare people to advance in their careers and to become environmental professionals if they're not already. And sorry, I'm going to try to pull up the slideshow, whether I can see it on the screen or not. Don't have it, sorry. Go ahead, Vance, you can keep going, and as soon as I bring it up, I will be able to talk to the slides.
Sure. So, I mean, with our program, I can talk a little bit about the overview. So it's a program that's for environmental professionals where you want to advance your credentials and really think about the work that you're doing currently and how you can become or serve in more of a leadership role within the work that you're doing. So some of the characteristics of this program, Leslie, I'm just going to go into this. It is fully online, and that's why it's attractive to a lot of working professionals. It is a 30 credit program, which means that you can do this while you're working full time and kind of work at your own speed or your own pace. So normally students in this program would finish it between 2 to 5 years. And as this is a webinar with Eco Canada, we have a very strong relationship with the occupational standards for the environmental sector. So really thinking about what are the current needs and the future needs for organizations as designated, you know, with organizations like Eco Canada to think about the rules that we need. And also because it is an online program, you're going to develop your online skills and competencies as you go through this program. So there's a couple other things that I can talk about. Within this program, there is a final project, capstone project, where at the culmination of your courses, you will either take do a research project, or you will work on a thesis project. Now, this is depending on your needs and desires, and they're slightly different projects. And I think Leslie can talk a little bit more about that.
I'm going to take over now, Vance. I still don't have it up, but I can at least talk about the programs.
Okay.
Yeah, as Vance said, you can choose either a research paper, which is pretty self-directed, and that's probably something that you've been interested throughout the program, and you might have already written papers for your assignments in your courses, but this is an opportunity for you to go into one topic in some depth. Or you can choose a practicum, which means that you would organize a placement in an organization that's working on environmental issues and spend up to 75 hours working in that organization, learning about that organization, but also helping them with whatever project you've agreed to with them. This program is pretty unique also in that you can take up to 3 courses from the University of Denver in the States. If you have a particular interest, for example, in US environmental issues, it might be fun for you to take those courses. We also have, and I'm going to be talking about this in a minute, a graduate certificate in science and policy of climate change. And you can take that as part of the environmental practice program. That's 3 courses or 9 credits. And at the end, you get both credentials. You get the graduate certificate and the master's degree, which I think is a pretty good deal. And many students have done that. And I think it's a great way to finish up your program. Should I now talk about the graduate certificate?
Yes, please.
I actually have a few questions here, if I could interject here for Dr. Leslie. Sure. So this is coming from Nicholas, and Nicholas is asking, I have undertaken master's studies in environmental planning and management in another university. Can I transfer my credits to Royal Roads? And if so, what is the process?
Yes, thanks for that question, Nicholas. You can transfer 9 credits from your previous education into the Master in Environmental Practice. And you would apply to do that when you apply to the program. And then we look at those credits and say, yes, they are relevant, and we'll give you those 9 credits. So then you start off with a good number of credits already under your belt. How many courses have you taken in that program?
I'll see what he says when he comes back to us. He can't answer us, unfortunately, but we can move.
Yeah.
My apologies, but I can ask you another question while we hang on. Did you want to do that?
Actually, Danielle, why don't we just make sure that he has my email address?
Absolutely. Yeah,
and we can
do that.
100%. I'd love to hear from Nicholas.
Wonderful. Janessa is asking, is the graduate certificate in climate able to be worked into both the MA and the MSc?
Either one, yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
And Carrie is asking, can it be done full-time?
You know, you can take up to 3 courses at a time in the environmental practice program. But in a circumstance where, for instance, you are not working, I can approve you taking more than 3 courses a semester, which would pretty much make it full-time. And in fact, 3 courses is pretty much full-time anywhere. So yes, this program is very, very flexible. So we really like to accommodate your schedules, and you can complete it as quickly or as slowly as you would like. You have to take one course a semester, but then how many more courses you take a semester is entirely up to you.
Okay, wonderful. And then one last question from Janessa. She's wondering, can the work placement be with an organization or role that I'm currently working at?
Good question, Janessa. The answer is yes, but I encourage people who do the placement with their employer to do something different, like a special project or researching an issue that the organization's been wanting to get into, something like that, so that you learn something new. I hope that clarifies.
Wonderful. And that's all we have for questions right now. Thank you.
Okay, good. Then now I'll talk about the graduate certificate in the science and policy of climate change. I'm sorry, I'm going completely blind here because I can't see you and I can't see the slides, but I can talk about this till the cows come home. So the graduate certificate is 9 credits, 3 courses. It's again entirely online, and you can take this as a standalone certificate or part of the MEP, whichever you prefer. And also, if you take it and then decide that you want to do the MEP, you can incorporate it into your MEP courses. And the courses in this program are also available to other programs at the university. So you get lots of interesting students in the cohort. And again, this program ends with a practicum, and you can basically organize your practicum in your nation if you're in an Indigenous community, in a government department, or in any kind of organization or industry or commercial enterprise. And these would be organizations who are trying to address climate change or are successfully addressing climate change. And then you would learn about the ways in which they address climate change, and you would also help them with their climate initiatives. So this certificate program, I like to say it's the most efficient way of obtaining a credential in this burgeoning climate field. So the people who take it are professionals who are already working in the field, who are maybe working in the environmental field but want to get into climate. Also, those who are already working in climate change, but there haven't been very many programs in Canada, if any, where you can actually get a credential. And it's a great way of developing a network, especially the practicum, but also with your classmates, developing a network of people who are working in the climate field. And this includes mid-career professionals who are considering a career change. And we have many of those in this program. So, again, it's pretty flexible. The 3 courses take place sequentially. So the first course is the science of climate change, science and impacts of climate change. And that's taught by 2 wonderful people, including our most recent Canada Research Chair, Rob Newell. And that really delves into the science of climate. And then the second course is the climate policy and governance, and that covers all kinds of different climate policies and up to the international governance level. Am I doing anything anywhere related?
I do have a question for you, Leslie, if you'd like to take it now.
Sure.
Great. Okay, Michael's wondering, he says, I have a master's degree in natural resource management from another university. Is there a PhD program for environmental professionals at RRU or elsewhere?
That's a very, very, oh, well, there are PhD programs for environmentalists across the country. I think of Waterloo, for instance. But we have a more general PhD program. It's actually a doctoral program because it's very applied. And it's the Doctor of Applied Social Sciences. And it's a great program. And I actually have a little cadre of students in that doctoral program who are looking at environmental issues. So I've had somebody from the Pacific Salmon Foundation. I've had someone working on the energy transition in Canada. I've got someone working on field stations in Costa Rica. You know, a really wide variety. I have 2 First Nations students working on environmental governance in their nations. So it's a very broad program. There's some quite heavy coursework, and then you're released to do your dissertation. It's a great program. But again, if you email me, I can talk to you more about this, and I can also talk about other PhD programs in Canada that you might be interested in, or in the States for that matter, because I've taught there too.
Fantastic. That's the only question I have for now. Thank you.
Okay, great. So where are we in the slides?
We're up to how to apply, Leslie.
Oh, then you can take it away.
Okay, I'll take it away then. So we do have 2 intakes of our master's, our MEP program per year, and that's usually in January and September. So we actually have one coming up in January. The applications, we are still accepting applications for our January intake. Our deadline has officially passed, but we are able usually to get some students in if you have all of your documents in order, and I'll talk about that in just a moment of what's required. If you're not quite ready for January, we have another intake in September, beginning of September, and our deadline for that is June 3rd. Now that's for our master's programs. For our grad certificate, which we have an intake once a year, that's in January as well. And again, the application deadline is now if you're interested in applying for that. It's important if you are applying for a January intake, we ask you to contact our admissions office directly to say that you're really interested for the January intake, and they will expedite that should you have all of the documents ready for the application.
Vance, sorry to interrupt, but I've just got you back. So
Okay.
I am so sorry, everyone, for that glitch. It probably meant this a little less smooth than it usually is, but please feel free to ask me any questions. I am back. I can see the other panelists and the slides now.
Great.
Thank you. Go ahead. Keep going.
So as part of the application, it is online. Everything's online, and there's a fee that you pay when you apply. And then when you are applying, there are important things for you to have ready, which is your official transcripts. We do ask for a detailed resume. We want to know your experience, especially in the environmental field. A personal statement of intent of why you want to take this program. And we also ask for 2 letters of reference. So that could be an employer or some other person that could speak to your ability to maintain studies and focus on a master's program. We have, what makes Royal Roads really interesting is we actually have standards admissions and we have flexible admissions. So I'm going to talk about the standard admissions first. So basically what that means is for our students that have a 4-year or comparable undergraduate degree in a related field. So we're looking for that, your bachelor's of arts or sciences, depending on what you have taken. And we also are looking for you to have at least 2 years of relative work or volunteer experience. We do look at each case individually. So it is important in those other documents that you explain what the reason is you are interested in the program. And we are actually looking for a diverse group of students. So even if you're not sure whether your previous experience qualifies, we are very open to hearing why you're interested in the program.
Vance, can I interrupt just for one more second? Sorry about that, but I'm very flexible when it comes to the word relevant. I find many, many things are relevant to the environmental field. So both your undergraduate degree and your experience, I am quite flexible about. Keep going, Vance. Thanks.
No problem, no problem. And so also, while we do ask for a minimum GPA of a B or a 3 on the scale, you can also complete some other courses in order for us to consider you for admission. So we don't want you to lose hope should your GPA be a little bit lower. And that is one thing at Royal Roads. We really believe in having people that are passionate in the program, passionate about the program. We want them in the program. So that's standard admissions, but flexible admissions is a little bit different. So that means that perhaps you don't have a bachelor's degree or you don't have the same requirements as the standard admission, but you have 6 years of relevant work experience or education and experience. So maybe you have some years of university experience, but you're also working heavily in the environmental sector. Then we would consider your application as well. And again, we're looking for you to have the academic writing and critical thinking skills, which would need to be completed prior to starting the program. Now, Leslie, perhaps you can give us a little bit of guidance here about flexible admissions. Maybe give us some examples of some students who have been accepted under these flexible admissions.
We have many students who are accepted under flexible admission, especially those who don't meet the GPA requirement in their undergraduate degree, or who don't have a 4-year degree, but have a 3-year degree. Or they've been working in the environmental field and, you know, they might have a degree in something, basket weaving. I'm trying to find something that I don't think is relevant, but you know me, I think everything's relevant to environment. But flexible assessment is a really good program because we get very dedicated students whom we otherwise would not get because they don't meet those standard admission requirements. It's not up to you, it's up to the admissions people. If you don't have the requirements, they will automatically look at you for flexible assessment. You don't have to apply for it. Okay?
Great. Thanks, Leslie. So there are also a number of services available to our students. Financial resources are available. Should you need assistance with that, you can see on the screen here, there's a link to one of our pages on the Royal Roads website that gives you information about loans, bursaries, and scholarships, and other funding that may be helpful should you need it. In general, if you have any questions, we actually have a whole team that can sort out and help you with those questions. Our admissions teams are used to students, especially students who haven't been in university for a while, asking a lot of questions to see if this program is the right fit for them. I know, of course, Leslie is available, and I believe Danielle has put her email in the chat. You can always reach out to Leslie, but we also have a whole team here that can help out too. And you can contact them by email or phone. If you want to contact them by email, it's learn.more@royalroads, all one word, .ca.
And our admissions advisors are wonderful. They will really help you and answer any questions. And if they can't answer, they'll send you to me. So, and you can also come to me directly if you have questions.
Right. And if you prefer to speak to someone on the phone versus sending an email, we have 2 different phone numbers. For those in BC, it's 250-391-2528. And if you're anywhere in North America, we have a toll-free number. It's 1-877-778-6227. And so this is on the Royal Roads website as well, but it's on your screen if you want to take it down. And I also know that Eco Canada will be sending out this webinar soon, so you'll be able to check those numbers as well. And a short but sweet presentation, but purposely so because we actually want to answer questions, specific questions that you have. You'll also see on the screen that I've added Leslie's personal email, well, her Royal Roads email, and more than happy to answer questions from any students. And I know Leslie is always answering questions and is very fast to respond. So if you really want a quick answer, Leslie's a good one to reach out to as well.
And we
Thank
do
you
have
very
some
much,
questions
everyone.
as well. Sorry, Leslie. Thank you
No,
so
no, go
much.
ahead, Danielle. I
I
want the
was,
question.
yes, of course. And I was just going to say that thank you, Leslie, for sharing such valuable insights and information about this program. Your expertise and passion for these programs is truly inspiring. And I think that anyone should take these programs. I think they're so beneficial. So thank you so much, Leslie.
Well,
So
thank you.
on, absolutely. On to our questions. So from Stacy, Stacy asks, I am near the end of my BAIS program where I'm enrolled in a majority of environmental practice courses. What I would like to know is, can I take the certificate course without the MEP program?
Yes, yes. As I said, you can take it as standalone. So you just take those 3 courses, you get the credential of the graduate certificate, and it's a wonderful program if you're interested in climate.
Wonderful. Jacqueline is asking, what is usually the time schedule for the online class of the MEP?
There is no time schedule. It's entirely self-directed.
Wonderful.
And you would put in, we reckon anywhere between 8 to 12 hours a week for these courses. And some people put in a lot more. Some people finish up really quickly. Some people are speedy. So occasionally there might be a synchronous session in your online course. If that's the case, you are not required to attend, and there will always be a recording that you can listen to in your own time. We're really very serious about accommodating working professionals' schedules. So these courses are entirely online. Now, that's not to say that you won't be interacting with your professor and your fellow students. It's not like a correspondence course. You are often required to interact, post things on the Moodle site, messages, interact with your fellow students on a particular topic or a question. But the work that you do can be done exactly on your schedule and when you want to. And most of my students do it in the evenings and on weekends.
Yeah, that is so invaluable for sure. Everyone is so busy now. I think that having that accommodation is just invaluable. And now we have a question about the synchronous online classes. What time are they during the day? Like what time do they occur? Anytime?
Yeah, they don't have a time attached to them.
Okay.
There might be a synchronous session which would be held at a particular time, but probably that would only be the case if there's a guest lecturer or something like that. Or if so for instance, in my courses, I have a virtual conference that ends the program, the climate program, and I do it also in the MEP. And the students are required to come to that, and most of them do. But every once in a while, somebody just can't. Their work schedule means they can't come. And that's fine. They post their presentations, their classmates listen to them, and it's perfectly acceptable. But most people do try to make it. So all I'm saying is that these synchronous sessions are unusual, and not everyone has them, and you would not be required to do them. So if there are, films or lectures, you can always listen to those in your own time.
Wow, how invaluable to be able to do that on your own time.
Yeah.
We have another question from Stacy. She says, I graduate in September of 2024 from RRU and would like to know what I need to do in order to apply for the SPCC certificate, and when would I be looking at a start date?
Okay, the program starts every January, Stacy, so your timing is impeccable. So if you can apply at any time, there will be a deadline, but we also take, you're not included in this because you will apply on time, but we do take late applications. And we also operate on a rolling admissions. So you can apply at any time, and within a few weeks, you will find out whether you're admitted. We don't wait to get everybody's applications in, and that's what rolling admission is. So, Stacy, when you're getting ready, you'll be too busy to worry about it before September. But when you graduate or you're getting ready to graduate, go on and fill out the online application form. The due date will probably, the deadline will probably be sometime in October. So don't dilly-dally. But then you'll find out fairly soon if you're admitted. And that first course in the climate certificate starts, I think, around the end of the first week in September, possibly the middle, I mean in January, sorry, possibly the middle of January.
Okay.
And if you need any more information, just write to me.
Absolutely. This might have something to do with this flexible admission as well, but Emma is asking, I'm trying to apply for the GSC or SPCC for the January intake, but coming from France, I'm still missing my bachelor diploma, even though I have the master one and everything else. Would it be possible to apply considering and get the last missing documents later?
Yes, yes. And in fact, it's pretty key that you get your application in, because we can sometimes, I mean, it depends on the load of the admissions people, but we can sometimes wait for that final transcript or whatever it is you're sending. But the idea is to get your application in very quickly.
Okay,
You
wonderful.
don't need to have everything ready when you apply.
So really just get that application in there and get everything afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a question from Connie. Connie's asking, is the practicum for the grad certificate the same as the MEP in that you can place with your current employer if you're focusing on a specific project that may be outside of normal duties?
Yes, exactly the same. The only difference really is that for the climate certificate, you're really looking at an organization that's addressing climate change, or a part of an organization that's addressing climate change. Whereas for the MEP, it can be any organization that's dealing with any environmental issue.
Okay. And then Tanya's asking, can you please clarify how the 3 grad certificate courses work? Are they released one after another, or do students get to access all 3 and work through at their own speed?
No, they're one after another. They have a start date and an end date. So the January course ends March, I believe. And then the next course, the climate policy and governance, starts after that one ends. And ditto for the final practicum course. It's the last course, and it starts after the policy course ends.
Okay. Do any of the courses have a focus on conservation through reconciliation partnerships?
Funny you should ask that question. So I have just developed a new program called Indigenous Environmental Leadership, and it deals with those issues. But also in the program, you can focus your program on Indigenous issues. And I'm very keen on this. I've been adopted by the Nisga'a and Tsimshian, so I'm very keen on Indigenous education and Indigenous topics, and indeed reconciliation. So what I like to tell people is that these programs are so flexible that if you have something that you're keenly interested in, you can focus your program on that interest, and you can do all your assignments on that. You can do your final research paper on that. You can do your practicum on that. And also, if you want to take a course from another institution, another post-secondary institution that you think is relevant to your study, all you have to do is ask, and I'll give you permission to do that. So yes, is the answer.
Wonderful.
There is one reconciliation course in the MEP program that's devoted to reconciliation. But other than that, you can focus your own program on that. I'm delighted that you're interested.
I think that sounds so interesting as well. We do have a question if this program is accessible in French at all.
That's a very good question. When we started these programs, we tried to make them bilingual and that students could take them in French or English. We had such little uptake, but I'm also a Francophile, so this really offended me that we stopped doing that. But we did stop doing it, so I'm afraid, much as I hate it, the answer to that is no. You know, we are a bilingual country. And if you were to take these courses and do your papers in French, I think that we would be obligated to accept those and to find somebody who could grade them. That somebody could be me because I am pretty fluent in French. But it's not something we require of all of our instructors.
So there's an opportunity there. So I would suggest you reach out to Leslie after this webinar. It sounds like there could be something there. So sounds wonderful. Okay, so there's a question from Rachel. How many applicants do you typically receive versus the number accepted into the MEP program?
Well, that's interesting. That's a very interesting question. We generally advertise very well, I think, our admission requirements. So generally people are under no illusions about whether they'll be accepted or not. If they meet the requirements, they'll be accepted. And so, you know, I don't know the answer to your question, the specific numbers, but generally, we don't turn down that many people. We turn down people who do not meet the requirements, and the admissions office does that. Sometimes if they're not certain, they will ask me, you know, does this person in your view meet our requirements? Sometimes I say yes, and sometimes I say no. The key thing here is that it's offered at both the Master of Arts and the Master of Science. So for the Master of Science, we do require that you have significant science in your undergraduate degree, because there is really not enough science at the master's level for you to have a science credential. So we really depend on your undergraduate science qualifications. Otherwise, we tell you to apply for the MA.
Of course.
There isn't that much difference between them, I have to say.
Yeah. Okay, Michael actually got back to us about that question earlier, and he said he did a BA as his first degree. His second degree was interdisciplinary, as he alluded to. And so can he do the MSc EP?
Does he have science in that undergraduate degree?
I believe he did, yes.
Okay, that's the key, then yes.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. And I'll make sure that he can contact you after this as well.
You should get the
I will, absolutely.
Horse's mouth, says the horse.
Yeah. And then Tanya has one last question, and it is about money. And she's wondering what the fees are for the grad certificate.
Oh, I hate it when people ask me this question. I have no idea. Vance, do you know?
Vance, any idea?
Off the top of my head, no, but I know it's on the website. If you go to the website.
The great thing about the MEP and the grad certificate are that we charge by the course. Most programs at the university charge by the program, so it's quite a big number of dollars. But for us, we only charge by the course. So you'd be charged for 3 credits. And I'm sorry, but I cannot remember the fee per credit.
I'm sure it's pretty reasonable.
I would lie if I tried to guess.
We can send Tanya to the website.
It's definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Check out the website, Tanya, and you can definitely contact Leslie after this webinar, and I'm sure she can help you out with anything. Okay, so that looks like it's it for us. That's everything. Please reach out to Leslie or Vance after this webinar if you have any further questions, or me myself here at Eco Canada. We would love to help you out. Thank you both so much for a wonderful webinar. I'm so sorry about the hiccups earlier, but we seem to make it through. So thank you
Apologies.
so much.
Thank you for joining us, and I hope I'll see you in the programs. Bye.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.